Greetings all, hope you've enjoyed the game. I'm saying that because if you haven't completed the game at least once all the way through, you probably shouldn't be here watching this. The following lore series and videos will hinge on the assumption that the viewers have at least played through the game at full a single time, because spoilers are and will be abound. But if not, and you'd rather just sit back and listen to the story for your own sake, feel free to go ahead and do that too. There is a peculiar mushroom-like being inside the kingdoms of Hallownest, and though it contributes little to the kingdom's history or what eventually happened to it, following this little guy around can give you some pretty enticing dialogue. Appearing in 7 different locations, the mushroom sporadically hides across Hallownest, beckoning visitors with its seemingly random gibberish babble. If you equip the Spore Shroom charm found in the Fungal wastes, just near the transition into the Deepnest, and I'll go ahead and show you the map location as well, the random babblings begin to become coherent, and you can access dialogue you previously wouldn't have been able to. His first location is at the Fungal Wastes, just past and a little below the Queen Station. This is where you initiate the ongoing quest, and after you speak with him here, he will begin moving to 6 different areas in the kingdom. Your first encounter incites dialogue which reads, "It's nice that you were able to help your friend, so you're not hungry anymore." Yes, that was quite the appetite. I was impressed. Still, we all move on sooner or later. To greater things perhaps, so much can be achieved in such a short time, and then proceeds to say, "Oh, excuse me," as though he may have been talking to himself prior to noticing your presence. After this, you will find him at the foot of Kingdom's Edge, exactly adjacent to one of the tunnels you can use to access the hive. And yes, these are sequential and you must follow them in order. The second bit of dialogue reads as follows: "Shouldn't trust the eye they gave you. Rely on your own instincts. If you've got a keen nose, use it. And while you're hunting for secrets, beware those who are hunting you." This could be a reference to the fact that you are continually hunting down the mushroom for additional dialogue, and he might be admonishing you that while you're doing so, others are following your trail as well. Not sure about this one, it's a little cryptic, although there's always a chance it could have something to do with the Kingdom of Hallownest. The third location is in the heart of the Deepnest, just below the failed tramway right here. The dialogue this time will read, "The dead can't make use of wealth in any case. What would they spend it on? Yes, a big brood like that. They need food and shelter and toys. If you keep some for yourself, well, I think you deserve it." Now, it's imperative to remember that the tribe of Deepnest did not accept Hallownest's king when he inherited the brand. This dialogue might possibly hint at the theory that Deepnest segmented themselves from the rest of the kingdom for purposes of wealth and greed, and coveting after what they did was what may have ended in the tribe's dismay. Also, it is crucial to note every dialogue ends with the line, "Oh, excuse me," as though he is only babbling to himself, not even observing your approach. After the Deepnest, the mushroom will then transport himself to the Howling Cliffs towards the western peak of the map. The dialogue here reads, "What was called a hero in its moment may be called something very different after time has passed. The crimes and triumphs of our predecessors echo all around us, don't they? The chains of fate that bind us all together. Do you really want to break them?" Now, I'm thinking the dialogue here is referencing the 5 knights, and how one was exiled and left to his own devices. There were 5 knights that defended the kingdom with their life, and one of them decided to chase something a little more prairial, or at least thought the king. Since that exile, the general disposition towards that knight has become fairly negative and derogatory. The 5th location can be found in the ancient Basin, around here on the map. This one sounds a little more like he's speaking directly to the character instead of just incessantly babbling. Here, take a look and see what I mean. The dialogue reads, "Well, if things are getting too dangerous down there, maybe it's time to take a break. Come back up and spend some time hunting or gathering or wandering aimlessly. No, not too much longer now." Now, considering that you just left the Howling Cliffs and are now much deeper into the kingdom, the mushroom's dialogue suddenly seems more pertinent to your own adventure rather than anything else. But he still ends his monologue with, "Oh, excuse me," insinuating it wasn't you he was talking to. Next, we're off to the Fog Canyon. Just below this mound right here, there is a hallway that channels off from this giant room. Here is where you can prompt the 6th dialogue sequence from the mushroom. It reads, "I haven't seen her, no. I'm sure you'll remember where you left her eventually. Trust the moon or yourself, or trust her. You need to trust something, that's my point. No, not him. No, absolutely not. Not sure what this is specifically referencing, but this could be a side effect of the fog canyon itself. In the Hunter's Journal, looking at one of the entries insinuates that the canyon is a strange, ominous place where a hunter can lose their senses quite easily. The mushroom might be referencing certain hallucinations or delusions of some sort, saying that you must trust yourself as a means of trusting your own senses and staying grounded in such a strange place. The last location is actually right where you start the game in the King's Pass, just before accessing Dirtmouth. The final dialogue seems to be more advice on how to play the game and less a reference to anything. It's not by tools that you'll triumph, the dialogue reads. It's through your smarts, your speed, and your determination. After this, the mushroom finally addresses you directly, saying that he's noticed you've been following him deliberately rather than sticking to your own path, advice that he later gives you in the same dialogue sequence. He wishes that his travels haven't diverted you from your own objective, and goes on to say his path was merely to explore the less traveled roads of the kingdom. Now that he has declared his journey complete, he departs, leaving the knight with his humble advice. You will have been rewarded with an achievement as well as a secret fourth ending upon completing the game. The mushroom suggests that he has lived through many kingdoms, even those predating Hallownest and other kingdoms before, which says something about the figure's longevity. In case you have trouble with the locations, there is a tablet buried deep in Kingdom's Edge at the very bottom. Reading this tablet with the Spore Shroom charm equipped will read much more naturally, although the message is still fairly cryptic. Each line of text refers to the locations I've given you in sequential order, from the Wastes to the Kingdom's Edge, the Deepnest, the Cliffs, the Basin, the Canyon, and then finally back to the King's Pass. Although it seems as though it's likely the 5th and 6th location may have been accidentally switched on the tablet. Now, this is of course only personal speculation, but it does seem like Root's domain would make much more sense for the ancient Basin, since that is indeed the birthplace of your knight. The Basin, however, is the 5th location in which the mushroom spawns, and it's listed as the 6th line on the tablet. That's kinda strange, although I may be overlooking something here. The mushroom offers anecdotes of wisdom and advice to your character, but he seems as though his knowledge on the origins of Hallownest run much deeper than what he lets on. This is literally the oldest living organism in the entire game, and thus it would make sense that he yearns to share his experiences with such an inquisitive knight like yourself. Hopefully we might be seeing more of him in future content. Until then, please consider subscribing and let us know if you'd like to see more Hollow Knight stuff from us in the future.